this video, we're going to talk about multilingualism. A multilingual or a bilingual is a person who speaks more than one language. You may have heard the term English language learner or dual language learner. This is all to say that children are learning more than one language. Throughout this course, we will use the term multilingual learner, or an MLL. Before we continue, remember back to Bloom and Leahy's model of language. We learned that language is comprised of form, content, and use. Interestingly, all the world's languages contain these components. However, there will be differences among languages within morphology, phonology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. We'll talk about that more later. Let's talk about what an MLL can look like. For example, Juan is from Guatemala and immigrated to the United States at age 4. Juan is currently considered a monolingual Spanish speaker. So if we look at the spectrum, Juan is at the capital S, meaning Spanish. Once he starts school and is exposed to English, he starts learning basic interpersonal communication skills, or BICS, to interact with teachers and students in his environment. This usually takes about 1 to 3 years to develop. As he's developing these skills, he moves along the spectrum and continues to speak Spanish more fluently and more proficiently, but is learning English too. As Juan continues in school, he does a majority of his reading, all of his academics, and talks to friends and teachers in English. English continues to become stronger, while Spanish is only spoken at home. During this academic time, Juan is learning cognitive academic language proficiency, or CALP. Learning academic language tends to take longer, anywhere from 5 to 7 years. As he spends more time in after-school activities and with English-speaking friends, English may become the more dominant and more proficient language. Thus, as represented on the spectrum, he may have a capital E, English, while a lowercase s. If he goes back to visit family in Guatemala during a school break and is speaking a lot of Spanish, he may move again on the spectrum and be a bit more dominant or comfortable in Spanish. This is all to say that language dominance or proficiency is not unidirectional. Children and adults move along the spectrum throughout their lives depending on context or environment. Additionally, dominance or proficiency may differ by modality in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For example, Juan may be stronger in speaking Spanish at one point, but may be a stronger reader in English at the same time. Juan is an example of a sequential bilingual, meaning he learned one language first and then began learning a second. In this next example, Sophia is a simultaneous bilingual, meaning she's learning both English and Portuguese at the same time. Here on the spectrum, we use P to represent Portuguese and E to continue representing English. Sophia will never be at the P or E at the ends of the spectrum, as she has been exposed to both languages since she was born and was never considered a monolingual. At home, Sophia hears both English and Portuguese from her grandparents and parents, mostly Portuguese. Her siblings tend to speak more English at home, as she is the youngest, and with influence of school, her siblings bring more English into the home. Based on how much she hears and speaks each language, she will move fluidly along the spectrum from capital P, lowercase e, to capital E, lowercase p, and vice versa. In all multilingual spectrums, we have a special case that has both languages as uppercase. I consider this a balanced bilingual, meaning their two languages are highly proficient and are capable of complex communication in each of their languages. To clarify, I tend to call this a unicorn. It is quite rare where a person can be highly communicative to the same extent in both languages. Typically, one is stronger than the other in certain situations or modalities. Multilingualism has tremendous benefits. More than half of the world's population are people who speak more than one language. Here in the United States, over 5 million children in the schools are MLLs. The highest percent of those MLLs speak Spanish, and the number of MLLs does vary state to state. As of 2022, approximately 11% of students in public schools in Rhode Island are MLLs. Research on multilinguals has revealed that there are cognitive benefits to learning 2 or more languages. Because multilingualism requires a learner to manage 2 or more languages simultaneously, some research has suggested that multilinguals may demonstrate strength in attention, memory, and problem-solving skills. Just like healthy eating and consistent exercise, multilingualism is good for the brain. Other research has shown that speaking more than one language provides a protective factor later in life to stave off neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Across the world, multilingualism demonstrates the ability to communicate with different groups of people. It provides the opportunity to learn about other cultures and opens the door to different ideas. Language diversity should be celebrated and encouraged. Language use is connected to a person's identity, culture, and ability to partake in customs and traditions. As educators and early care providers, it is our duty to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice within our early language programs. Understanding and supporting multilingualism is part of our responsibility in cultivating an inclusive learning environment for all children of all backgrounds.